Army rescues 387 Boko Haram family members from Sambisa forest. CBN withdraws circular on cybersecurity levy. Nigerians lament economic policies as inflation hardship bites harder. Iran declares 5 days of mourning after President Raisi's death from helicopter crash. Hello, welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Now to the news. A total of 387 families of Boko Haram fighters have been rescued by the Nigerian Army from the Sambisa forest. The 387, comprising men, women and children, were rescued by hybrid forces of the Sector 1 Northeast Joint Task Force operation in Kai. Led by Brigadier General Diwa, the troops also recovered several vehicles and equipment initially seized by the terrorists from the Nigerian Army at the peak of the insurgency. Receiving the jubilant troops at the entrance of Sambisa in Awulari, Kodunguna local government, the Sector 1 Acting Commander Abubakar Haruna said the terrorists should either surrender or face death, as all their known camps and enclaves have been destroyed. According to Haruna, the operations, initially planned for 4 days, eventually lasted 10 days.
You have done wonderfully well. Everybody is happy with you. They called me from Gambia to tell me they saw what we did. That's Gambia, our troops in Gambia. The Chief of Army Staff is highly pleased with your performance. Gentlemen, you have done your bit. You have sacrificed yourselves to ensure that peace or normalcy returns to Maiduguri. This is a wonderful outing, and we are really happy. We had to sacrifice whatever it is to come, so that you know that we are with you always.
Meanwhile, 2 persons were killed while 7 others were abducted in an attack in Ikachi village in Aparata area of Effium in Ohuaku local government area of Ebonyi State. The police have confirmed. The spokesperson for Ebonyi Police Command DSP Joshua Okandu confirmed the incident, added that the assailants also destroyed properties worth millions of naira in the area on Sunday. He added that the police have been working with other security agencies to restore peace into the area and to also ascertain the cause of the latest flare-up of communal clashes in the area. Eza and Effium communities have been enmeshed in deadly clashes since 2021. Meanwhile, moving here in Abuja, Banex Plaza and Electronics and Telecommunications Gadget Market in Abuja is still under lock and key. Reports said many soldiers are found across the plaza. Some traders who assembled at a distance from the plaza were seen leaving after waiting for hours. Trouble started when thugs beat up some soldiers who had a minor disagreement with the trader in the plaza. The trader had reportedly sold a bad phone to someone who invited soldiers. Rather than resolve the issue amicably, the traders reportedly invited thugs who assaulted the uniformed men. They descended on at least 2 soldiers and another man in mufti. The thugs who broke into groups slapped, kicked and beat up the soldiers. The army is yet to make statement over the incident. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria has retracted its directive asking banks and payment service providers to collect and remit the cybersecurity levy as outlined in the Cybercrime Prevention and Prohibition Amendment Act of 2024. The Apex Bank announced this in a revised circular dated May 17, 2024. The circular, signed by the Director of Payment System Management Chibuzo Efobi and the Director of Financial Policy and Regulation Department Haruna Mustafa, was addressed to commercial banks, payment service providers, non-interest banks and others. The directive for the collection of the levy was met with nationwide backlash, which prompted the presidency to suspend the implementation. The Federal Executive Council suspended the implementation of the provisions of the law, citing the need to conduct further review. Justice Inyang Eku of the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed the request by alleged terrorist negotiator Mohammed Tukumamu seeking his transfer from the custody of the Department of State Service to the Kuje Correctional Center. Delivering the ruling on Monday, Justice Eku held that the federal government had raised the issue of incessant jailbreaks in prisons as a major ground to oppose the request for transfer to Kuje. The judge subsequently ordered Mamu to remain in DSS custody throughout his trial for the criminal charges against him. Justice Eku, however, confirmed his earlier order that he should be allowed to access his physician for medical treatment with the supervision of the DSS. Mamu, through his lawyer, had on April 29th alleged that the order of the court made on December 19, 2023, that he be allowed access to his physician for medical treatment was not compiled with the DSS. Mamu was arrested at the Aminu Kano International Airport upon his arrival from Egypt on September 6, 2022, over his alleged relationship with terrorists who attacked the Abuja-Kaduna train on March 28, 2022. Away from that now, the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, has said the Congress was not aware of merger talks involving the Labour Party with some political parties in the country. The LP, which is a social democratic political party, was founded by the organized labor. There have been speculations about the possibility of a merger between the LP and the People's Democratic Party following the meeting between the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and the presidential candidate of the PDP in the election, Atiku Abubakar. Obi also reportedly met with some PDP stalwarts in Abuja, including the former Senate President Bukola Saraki and the former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido. Speaking after the meeting with Obi on Monday last week, Atiku said party members would decide their fate in 2027 general elections, adding that if the PDP decided in 2027 that it was the turn of the Southeast to field the presidential candidate and selected Obi, he would readily offer his support. The Senate is set to commence a public hearing on the upward review of judges' salaries, allowances and fringes benefits for judicial officers nationwide. The letter, dated May 14, 2024, informed the AGF to be prepared to make a presentation to the Senate and the general public. The letter, which was signed by the Chairman Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator Mohammed Mongono, said the Senate, at its plenary sitting, considered the judicial officers' salaries and allowances Bill 2024 and referred same to the Senate Committee of Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters for further legislative action. The House of Representatives had passed a bill that was sent to it by President Bola Tinubu for the upward review of salaries, allowances for a third reading. Now, away from that, one person has been reported dead and several properties burnt in a fire that broke out at the Bishop Crowder Memorial Seminary School, Awka, the Anambra State capital. Although the cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained, it was gathered that the incident occurred around 11:30 p.m. on Sunday. Confirming the incident in a statement from the media unit of Anambra State Fire Service, the State Fire Service Chief Chukwudi Chiketa said the remains of the students who died in the incident had been taken to a mortuary. He explained that firefighters and the fire truck were immediately deployed to the scene of the incident upon getting an alert from the school, adding that the fire had been contained. In the same vein, the Nigerian Air Force has donated 4 furnished and equipped blocks of classroom to the Zamfara state government as part of its contribution to empowering young people and taking them away from negative vices. Air Officer Commanding Special Operations Command, Air Vice Marshal Enebong Efium, handed over the buildings at the Sabongari Kaura Namwa on behalf of the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, as part of an activity marking the 60th anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force. While speaking at the handover ceremony, the Commander 207 Quick Response Group of the Nigerian Air Force Gusau Group Captain Muhammad Aliyu said the idea behind donating classroom was part of the Nigerian Air Force's efforts to empower the youth and take them away from indulging in bad social vices that are inimical to peace and societal development. Secretary to the Zamfara State Government Abubakar Nakwada, who received the 4 blocks of classroom at Namua Secondary School, Sabongariki Kaura, thanked the force for the project, commending them for contributing to protecting Zamfara State and the country from terrorists. The State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology Zamfara State, Wadatu Madawaki, pledged to provide an additional block of classroom and instructional materials to school for teachers and students to improve the quality of teaching and learning. This is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at how inadequate water supply in Kano disrupts daily life and education. More news when we return. Do stay. Welcome back if you're just joining us. This is news updates coming to you from Trust TV. Let's take a look at our headline stories again. Army rescues 387 Boko Haram family members from Sambisa Forest. CBN withdraws circular on cybersecurity levy. Now moving on, Vice President Kashim Shettima has called on the governors of the Northeast state to intensify efforts in reviving the sub-region's lost glory through education, business and economic activities. Shettima emphasized the critical role of education in fostering development and urged the governors to focus on enhancing educational infrastructure and quality. Trust TV's Adamu Imam has the details.
Vice President Kashim Shettima launched the Accelerated Senior Secondary Education Program in Bauchi, aimed at improving access to quality education in the Northeast. He emphasized the importance of enhancing educational infrastructure and curriculum to foster regional development. This initiative by the Northeast Development Commission seeks to address critical educational needs and support long-term progress in the region.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, through ASEP we aim to tackle the dysfunction at this critical level of education by transforming key educational outcomes across 3 major result areas. First, we aim to ensure that admissions to tertiary institutions are more accessible. As Alexander Pope said, drink deep or touch not the Western Spring. There is no one as dangerous as a half-educated person. We have to embrace education for the good of our society, to uplift our society.
All 6 Northeast governors and educational stakeholders attended the launch of the Accelerated Senior Secondary Education Program ASEP. Borno State Governor Babagana Umara Zulum, chairman of the Northeast Governors Forum, spoke on their behalf. The event coincided with the forum's annual meeting in Bauchi.
We are fully aligned with the focus and pillars of ASEP. For the Northeast, we urgently need to raise the headcount and quality of our graduates. We need to upgrade the quality of our teachers using technology and other available resources. And we need to equip our youth with 21st century skills and fit them for the realities of our times. Our development policies and programs are also aimed to drive these objectives, and we are delighted to embrace ASEP as a program designed to further our development in these areas.
Bauchi State Governor Senator Bala Mohammed emphasized his administration efforts to enhance education standard across the state. Vice President Kashim Shettima commended the NEDC for ASEP and assured continued federal support for educational initiatives nationwide. Secondary school students showcased educational technology during the event, highlighting efforts to accelerate access to quality education in the Northeast. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now let's move over to Kano, where residents in the state are currently struggling due to severe lack of water supply, particularly in rural areas in Kano. The crisis has forced many children to abandon their education as they must travel long distances to fetch drinking water for their families. Idris Jibrin reports.
Chalawa is a community in Kumbotso local government area of Kano State. Apart from the community's proximity to the metropolitan city of Kano, the 75,000 liters daily capacity treatment plant is located in the community and is called Chalawa Water Treatment Plant because the plant used the river Chalawa, from where both communities, animals and residents now drink water. According to residents, over the years, Chalawa community used to have steady supply of water, with many reservoirs and water pumps all scattered around the community. There are also water boreholes, many of which are no longer working, largely due to government negligence.
We have problem of water here more than you can think, and we have lots of children going to school. But unfortunately, all our boreholes were not even built by the government, but by individual philanthropists. Therefore, our children had to go to the river to fetch water, and in fact, many of them have stopped going to school.
Malam Shehu Al-Hassan, the ward head of Chalawa Chikingari, say at the moment, his people are in a very difficult situation, as many things have stopped due to the lack of this basic necessity of life, and that most of his people now relied on River Chalawa.
I can tell you that in my ward alone, there are 17 boreholes, but as of today, only 3 are working. One in my house, one in Imam's house, and the other one at our school. And even these ones that are working can only pump water when there is electricity supply.
We visited River Chalawa at a time when classes were in session in both primary and secondary schools, and met a number of school-age children fetching water, while others were washing school uniform.
I did not go to school today because I have to wash my father's clothes, and because there is no water in town.
The managing director of the Kano State Water Board, Engineer Garba Ahmad, said recently there is an outcry of non-availability of water within Kano metropolitan area, but it does not affect the people outside the metropolis. He said the greater Kano area has about 5 treatment plants supplying water under Greater Kano, and that all are working except the Tambrawa water plant, which the government is working to revive.
Because of the public outcry and serious concern of government on the issue of water supply in the Greater Kano area, just recently the government set up a special task force considering all people of high caliber in the water sector who are experienced, who have worked for many decades and have retired, to come together with the management of the water board to rescue the situation immediately.
Meanwhile, despite this commitment by the state government, the people of Chalawa village are still suffering to access water, even as they wait for government to provide permanent solution for their water problem. Their children at both primary and secondary schools have continued to skip schools in order to fetch water for their family. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Meanwhile, Nigerian crude oil production is nearing 1.7 million barrels per day. The Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, stated this while addressing stakeholders at an engagement between the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists and the NNPCL in Lagos on Saturday. According to him, 1.7 million barrels per day was a boost from 1.28 million barrels reported in April. According to Kyari, the nation's crude oil production keeps dropping due to oil theft and vandalism, emphasizing the need to fight insecurity in the oil and gas sector to increase production. And on the foreign scene, South Africa's top court ruled Monday that graft-tainted former president-turned-firebrand opposition challenger, Jacob Zuma, is ineligible to stand for parliament in next week's general election. The decision will outrage Zuma's supporters and stoke fears of violent unrest in the run-up to the May 29 poll, already the most competitive since the advent of post-apartheid democracy in 1994. The top court threw out Zuma's complaint against an electoral commission decision that a previous conviction for contempt prevents him from becoming an MP, ruling that the constitution bars anyone sentenced to more than 12 months in jail. Migrants from sub-Saharan Africa are now asking to be let go in order to reach Europe as tensions mount in the country over the government's handling of the migrant crisis. Migrants' encampment stand as testament to the struggle faced by the many dreaming of a better life in Europe. Protesters say they have borne the cost of Tunisian efforts to prevent migrants from reaching the European Union less than a year, after the country brokered an anti-immigration pact with the 27-country bloc to better police its sea border and receive more than $1 billion in aid. Tunisian President Kais Saied has taken a hard stand against migrants, accusing them of bringing violence and crime to the country. Meanwhile, in sports, Simon Cletus was named man of the match in the Golden Eaglet 1-0 against Niger Republic in Group B at the WAFU B Under-17 tournament in Ghana. Cletus, captain of the Golden Eaglet, has now won back-to-back man of the match award at the ongoing tournament. He first picked up the award in the coach Manu Garba-led side 0-0 draw against Burkina Faso. The Eaglets had a player sent off in the second half but held on for the important win. They will take on Togo in their final group game on Wednesday. Ahmed Hamdi scored midway through the first half to give Zamalek of Egypt a 1-0 victory over Renaissance Berkane of Morocco on Sunday and the second CAF Confederation Cup title. The two-leg final finished 2-2 on aggregate, with the Cairo club winning the African equivalent of the UEFA Europa League on away goals. The previous Zamalek triumph in the second-tier competition also came against Berkane, with the Egyptians winning on penalties in 2019 after another aggregate draw. It was a historic triumph for Zamalek boss Jose Gomes, who became the first Portuguese coach to win the Confederation Cup. And on a sad note, the former Minister of Labour and Chairman of First Bank Nigeria has passed away at 82. A family source said the Oyo-born prince passed away on Sunday night at the University College Hospital, Ibadan, Oyo State. He was chairman of the board of directors of First Bank PLC and was also appointed as Minister of Labour under the interim government of Ernest Shonekan. Ofanja was the chairman of Integrated Dimensional System and many other companies. Well, with that, we've come to the end of News Update here on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news, programs, and documentaries. I am Lilian Ogazi. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.